So in today's video, I'm going to be going over subwoofer hum and how to deal with it. Before I get going, please like and subscribe. It makes all the difference in the world. You guys have no idea. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. So subwoofer hum is something I've avoided since I've started this channel, and I'm lucky that way. I knew what to do in theory, but I had no practical experience with it. But in putting together the new home theater setup, my new studio here, I finally experienced it in the left subwoofer. Now this actually made me happy because now I could speak from experience on what to do. Now I also did experience subwoofer hum with the 3000 micro when I put it in the SUV, but that was a little bit different. The fix for that was to ground the RCA cable to the SUV chassis. One of the big problems with putting an AC subwoofer into a DC environment is hum. It didn't happen all the time, it was intermittent. Now I have to say the micro has some really impressive protections in it. Initially I used a power station, and sometimes I'd forget to turn it off when I turned off the car. And when it was warmer, I would get a substantial amount of hum. I'd walk up to the SUV and I'd hear the micro just going full bore with strong and frankly concerning amount of hum. It was just, I mean, not a mild amount of hum, but like really, it was going full bore and it concerned me. It happened a few times. Honestly, it's surprising that it didn't kill the amp and drivers. The sub still works great. I still have the review to do on that. Now, if you think you might have hum, but it's light, an easy way to find out is to actually just put your finger on the subwoofer cone. There shouldn't be any vibration at all when everything is, idle. There's no content being put through it. It's just sitting there like it is now. Right now, if I had hum, you would hear it because everything is on, but there's nothing coming out of the speakers. So right now, if I could touch each of the subwoofer cones, there's no vibration going on. Now it only happened with the left sub. The right sub was fine. I tried switching the power outlet to the same plug, as that can help in certain situations, but it didn't change anything in this case. So I started looking at the cables. Now I had to use longer cables than what I have on hand because, as you can see, I have to run channel all the way around the fireplace. And the fireplace has kind of been a difficult thing to deal with, but so I needed a 25-foot long cable to run it from the AVR all the way up and around down to the left subwoofers. Now at first I used some cheap subwoofer cable that I used for the hodgepodge setup as a stand-in until I got the right cable. So I tried switching to some older Monster cable I had, and that didn't fix it either. Now I would imagine there's some subwoofer cables from Monster that do the trick and would work just fine, but the ones I had did not. I tried a few others, including really no-name cables. None of them worked. Now this concerned me because I already ordered a 25-foot Mediabridge cable. I decided to move the sub closer because I remember Nick from SVS telling me that their subwoofer cables are great at eliminating hum. And sure enough, I plugged it in and there was no hum. It fixed the problem completely and totally. I could put my finger on the cone, nothing. I switched subwoofer cables to something different, I got hum. So yeah, it worked just as he said, and I could have talked about that a long time ago, but I had no experience that that would actually work. So not that I didn't trust him, I fully believed him, but I had absolute proof in this case that it worked. So that was nice. So what about the cable I ordered though? I was trying to get this set up because I had people coming for the weekend and I didn't want everything to be in disarray. So, I was a little worried about it. I was getting it in the next day or two. I needed the cable in order to route everything all at once because, if you go back in and, you can open these, these cable wire raceways, but it's a good idea just to do it all at once and not have to touch it again. Now, thankfully, the Mediabridge cable I ordered did the trick as well. And I have my suspicions on what type of cables will work, but I guess the point of this video is that these two cables definitely work where others have failed. There are instances where the hum comes from the subwoofer itself because it's failing or defective, but most of the time I would imagine cables like these would do the trick. And if nothing else, you could use these cables to figure out whether it's the cables or whether you have a hardware problem with either the subwoofer or possibly the AVR. Properly set up at idle with the power on, meaning not running any content, there shouldn't be any noise or vibration coming from the subwoofer cone. Hopefully that helps some of you out. I'm glad I was able to experience it so I could relay what I know fixed the problem in my own setup. Definitely stay tuned. I have several videos lined up and I'm getting back in the groove. I really appreciate all of your support. It helps more than you can possibly imagine. So thanks so much for watching and please subscribe.